Breast cancer is the second most frequent disease among women, but Sheila Carson never expected it to happen to her. According to her, she had no symptoms of cancer, and she didn't have any history of cancer in her family. As for herself, Carson always maintained a healthy lifestyle, as she was and still is an enthusiastic exerciser, a non-smoker, and someone who always maintained a healthy weight to live a healthy life. She said this while citing lifestyle practices that lower the risk of breast cancer. Yet something that was very surprising for her was the diagnosis of her disease that occurred back in 2020. According to the National Cancer Institute, breast cancer is most typically diagnosed in women over the age of 50, and a woman in her 30s with no family history of breast cancer has a 1 in 204 risk of having the disease. However, one day while showering, Sheila discovered a large lymph node in her left armpit. At this point, she tried not to worry about it. After all, women's breasts are frequently lumpy and vary according to hormone cycles. But the truth is, she was in denial. "I was scared and didn't want to confront the reality of the situation," Sheila explains. But this was only the beginning of her disease. While the lump in her armpit persisted, a few months later she saw a pea-sized lump beneath the nipple of her left breast and realized she needed to see a doctor. At the time, Sheila, her husband, and their 5-year-old kid lived in Maryland. According to Sheila, she went to her family doctor, who sent her for a CT scan. However, everything changed when the results came in. Based on the results, Sheila was advised to contact an oncologist regarding the lumps in her breast. Yet the lump was not the only thing that was visible in the scan. The scan also revealed a spot on her liver, which became more of a focus for her medical team as she explained about the whole situation. After a few months, it was discovered that the spot on her liver was not significant, but she was becoming increasingly concerned about the lumps in her breast. At this point, Sheila was not ready to face anything unexpected and something as dangerous as breast cancer. However, she had to face the reality, and it seemed like this was the time when she realized it too. When the doctor told her about the whole thing, as per Sheila's explanation, she instantly knew that something was off, and her instincts told her that something was obviously wrong. Sheila also said that at this stage, she wanted to live somewhere simpler, with family support and close to a world-class cancer clinic. With her family, they returned to Western New York where she grew up. But this was also the time for Sheila to seek some top cancer care. Sheila returned to Buffalo and promptly arranged a mammogram and subsequent ultrasound at a local clinic, where she discovered that her breast tumors appeared to be cancerous. According to her, she immediately chose to consult with the cancer experts at Roswell Park. As per Sheila's opinion, they had so many resources in one area, and thanks to their resources and research, what was previously a far deadlier disease was now treatable and curable in many situations, particularly if identified early. Despite knowing she was at the proper place, Sheila struggled with the diagnosis. But even after being at the right place for her treatment, she felt lost and underwhelmed. According to her, she felt defeated and was afraid of the treatment and of what the future held for herself and her family. She also mentioned that this was when her spouse offered her the perfect advice. At this point, Sheila had understood with the help of her husband that she doesn't need to feel sorry for herself. Instead, she needed to embrace her diagnosis and fight as hard as she could to get better. Since Sheila had been an enthusiastic athlete, this was something that really resonated with her. Fighting cancer is both a physical and mental battle, and at this stage, the staff at Roswell Park was well coordinated and working for her and others with cancer to survive. So even when it was challenging, Sheila knew she needed to deep dig and fight. Sheila's breast cancer was diagnosed as stage 2 via imaging. Under the care of surgical oncologist Helen Cappuccino, MD, FAS, and medical oncologist Ellis Levine, MD, who reviewed her options and devised a treatment plan as she talked about it. One of the first steps was to see if Sheila's breast cancer was caused by a genetic mutation. Once determined, she was referred to Roswell Park's genetic screening services, and blood testing revealed that she had a variation of the BRCA2 gene mutation. So, what was the next step? Because Sheila's cancer was contained and the tumor had not grown, she had two alternatives for breast surgery: a lumpectomy, known as a removal of a portion of the breast, or a mastectomy. However, it was up to Sheila which procedure she wanted to go for. Given that a lumpectomy is a less significant procedure with excellent survival rates, she chose lumpectomy as she explained about the whole situation. However, Sheila also had to make herself ready for the after effects of chemotherapy. Before beginning chemotherapy, Sheila went to Roswell Park's Resource Center. While explaining the situation, she said that she knew she would lose her hair, and she also wanted to prepare both herself and her son. She also added that she chose a wig that was offered free of charge at the hospital she was admitted in. While talking about her days in the hospital, Sheila also mentioned that she also obtained a book called No Wear Hair from the Resource Center library and read it with her kid at home to help him understand the changes he would notice in her. Sheila tried her hardest during chemotherapy to fight like hell. Even though she felt half dead some days, she began taking better care of herself and eating healthier foods. She also attempted to keep things as normal as possible for her son. She mentioned how she did some gardening. She also stopped fretting about her bald head and realized she didn't always have to wear a wig. After finishing chemotherapy, Sheila was scheduled for a lumpectomy with Dr. Cappuccino. Prior to the surgery, a tiny titanium seed containing a small quantity of sealed radiation was placed into Sheila's breast to pinpoint the exact position of her small tumor. The hospital she was admitted to was one of the only clinics in the area that used this more patient-friendly method, which eliminated the need for a painful tracking wire protruding from the patient's breast. During the procedure, Dr. Cappuccino used a radiation detector to find and remove the seed and tumor. During the same operation and incision, 20 lymph nodes were taken and evaluated, with only one showing signs of malignancy. But where there is light, there is hope. Sheila's journey was far from done, but as she looked over the horizon, she knew that whatever hardships lie ahead, she would face them with unyielding courage and an unshakable faith in the power of love to overcome even the darkest of days. And that's the sort of advice Sheila also likes to give to anyone who's going through the same situation. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. If you enjoyed watching this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon to always stay updated with more of such interesting content. Thanks for watching.